You know. So I started like this. I am a guy from a place, Charm City, Bip Bip, Keith the Vandal. Marquise is the name my mother gave me. I'm blessed to be here with a former pastor, educator, community leader, and just all around awesome individual. I met him through another awesome individual. I do a lot of stuff from a lot of places. Y'all don't know why I'm here, but you'll find out. Brother Ron Williams. How are you today?
I'm doing well, thank you. It's a beautiful day. The sun is shining, blue
Absolutely.
sky.
Absolutely. I want to ask you, what do you think that youth can do to keep their minds active in the summer?
Um, it depends on the age group. Of course, if the younger children, they're usually guided into some kind of experience. But those who may be a little older, and I would say preteen, I say from age 5 to 12, um, your interest really drives what you should do in the summer.
Mm,
Even from a parent's perspective, what is my child interested in? What is are they naturally attracted to? How can I translate that or transfer that into something that is going to give them a sustainable future? So rather than necessarily prescribing that they should be in a STEM program or
mm.
they should be in an arts program, yes, there's some of that, but allow their natural, God given interests to guide the development of their future. That's my thought.
I appreciate that, and I think the people at home will as well. Uh, you have been in education. What was the catalyst? What was the thing that drove you to be an
Education.
educator? Yes,
Well, education for me
many
was
years.
kind of the family business. So I was always around education. My grandfather was a teacher. My grandmother had gone to college on my mother's side. My paternal grandfather was a pastor. So preaching and teaching was always part of the equation. So going into it naturally, like some people do, you develop that natural interest around the conversations that you heard at the dinner table. You're exposed to it. You're advocated. So it was natural for me. But the whole concept of learning and what that means and how to be a competent learner. There's the formal educational system, but developing those skills that are necessary to receive information, process information, apply information, and become better, improve your life with information.
Yes.
That's a learned process. And I'm just intrigued by it. I've loved my career in it. I'll do it as long as I'm on this planet.
Such a blessing to have references, and to be a reference. 'Cause I'm sure you're a reference for a lot of people that you've taught and the people in your life. What is a book that may have changed your perspective in a way that you're forever grateful for, besides the Bible? What is a book that just was very powerful for you and you may recommend?
There have been a lot over the years, and I don't even know if I could really pinpoint one.
Mm,
Um, a book that I read a few years ago, uh, Disintegration, um, and I'm going to blank on the name of the author, but he's a Pulitzer Prize winning author who's often a commentator on one of the cable news stations.
mm.
Disintegration,
Disintegration.
and he really talked about what it means to be black in America now,
Mm,
which is very different than it was 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago. And a lot of that is due to immigration, from the Caribbean and from Africa, and also interracial marriages. And what does it mean to be black in the context of this moment? Um, it opened my eyes, and the social, the value of it from a community understanding and what we need to do in this moment and next. I think it was even, he referenced the pre-Obama era and how could that even happen, and tap into the new black wealth, which is relatively new, and not even realizing it was there until it was called upon. All of those kind of lessons came out of that book. And I think it may be 5 to 10 years old, but it's still a good read.
Last question. I received a message from someone this morning about how I've impacted them with this cast that I've been providing. What would you say to somebody who doesn't have a vision right now, that doesn't know what the future looks like, that's in fear, that's in bondage?
One, stop, sit, be quiet, breathe. Um, Vision comes to you. Sometimes we are so busy chasing a vision that we don't let the vision come. It requires a amount of patience. It requires being able to be uncomfortable, to be vulnerable, to sometimes be in pain. But if you are patient and just quiet yourself enough, you will see the future. You have to be quiet, and you have some idea of what you want it to be, but you got to be quiet enough for it to speak to you. One thing I know, because part of my educational background is in psychology, is that drive is the effort to get away from noxious stimuli. So there's something in all of our past, all that may have been traumatizing or whatever, or uncomfortable, but we spend a lot of time trying to get away from that. Um, Sometimes it's not for us to get away from it, but just to be quiet in it and allow it to show us where we want to be. The drive will be there because of the noxious stimuli. I'm trying to get away from this, but I need to see where I'm, to some degree, where I'm going. And it unfolds over time. You got to be patient and quiet, even in the discomfort.
As I always say, one day made better, as many days made greater. I'm uplifting you to be in a world that cares. If I keep it to myself, I think that's unfair. The joy I've been given is best when shared. Visionaries never die, legends survive through the seeds we sow daily. We get better with time. I'm grateful, I'm blessed, and I'm encouraged after having the conversation that we've had. So, once again, I thank you, and I'm looking
Thank
forward
you, sir.
to all the things that you are building and that I'll be building as well. Bip, bip.
That's it. That's
That's
how
the
we get
beat.
started.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man.